pretty popular, but here our culture is different. So after that, we changed into my pasalubong.com, which is an online delivery for pasalubong. Then after some time, we rebranded it to shoplocal.ph, which is still running now. That's my goal. Our advocacy is really to help MSMEs grow and become sustainable, because we see that MSMEs can really have a great impact in our community. So that's what I did then. One of my mentors in my startup is Janet Tural, which is the facilitator of this, and she asked me, Marl, I have this initiative with the ICT. If you want to help MSMEs, maybe you can, because in this program, we'll be helping MSMEs also. Send me your CV and let's see if you will qualify. Then I was lucky. I was selected as one of the first pioneering batch of trainers. I have only 2 batch. The first one is in Dumalinaw, and it's in the first batch, so it's like starting, and it I can say that it fails in terms of like what's the expected outcome. It's because the infrastructure are not yet ready. There's no internet, and the people that were selected in the community are really marginalized. That we have to go after 2 weeks of training, we have to go to Pagadian because it's in Dumalinaw, so that we have a good internet connection. But most of my trainers, I think 95% of them are graduates from education. So after the training, it's LET exam. So they have to study for LET, and they did not do the 21-day marketing campaign. And also one of the things that did not really motivate them is because they don't have the internet connection and they don't have the laptop for the 21-day marketing campaign, because they have to travel from Dumalinaw to Pagadian in order to have internet connection and to have access to internet. And they don't have the capacity to pay for the fare. So that's one thing. So the result really saddened me, because wow, this is a very, very good program, but it should be implemented in a way that it has a greater impact. So when I was told that Zamboanga is my next place to be an RP, I really communicated with them that, hey, this is what you should do. You should have good communication, good internet connection. You should really select the right people. Like the selection process should really be stringent, and these are the things that you should have done. Okay. But at the end of the training, I was told that only 50% of those trainings, like they're expecting only to have a graduate of 10. That's like their maximum, because these are like, they're just filling up the other 15 so that they will have 25, because they have also difficulty in choosing the trainers. But I did not know that. That's also the one thing. I really see my training, and one thing that I've learned from my previous experiences is that these people will not learn if I just like teach them. You should have moved their life. You should motivate them in order to really be to really want to learn. That's your goal as a training. That's your number 1 goal. They should not like be learning and after this is so boring. And I can see them in their eyes. Like after that, the FOO told me that, you know what, we only expected 10, and that's like the best that we are expecting. But we have surpassed the record. We break the record. We have the most number of completers, and also we have the most number of revenues after 21-day marketing. And I was so proud. And these 3 right here in the front, these are my these are a few of my graduates. So it's so what I've learned also is this should not stop. Like after this, what will happen next? Because the program is so good, but there are still lapses. Number 1, I was asked, what should the government do after this? I told them that you should have like an incubation period. These trainees in the marginalized area don't have the equipment. They don't have the resources, they don't have the internet connection. So I'm suggesting that at least you should have like an incubation period wherein these people will be introduced to clients and will have an access to good internet connection and good facilities, so that they'll have a client, they'll be able to save money for them to have their own equipment, then they can go. So Right now, it's not present in Zamboanga. So what I did with my fellow trainers, I told them that, hey, I think we can also do something. So we started, I co-founded with them Nara Digital. So our main focus is providing custom e-commerce services and solutions. That's our niche. Everything e-commerce. From creating a website, brand development, to content creation, to product description and everything, like, and to promotion, like FB ads, Google AdWords, SEO. So, but we're focusing only on e-commerce. So after some time, I told them we're also launched. Our launching is during our graduation. So Nara Digital was launched on December 12th. So we are 4 months old. So it's very young. We have 8 clients already. We're earning a recurring revenue of 180K per month. So what we're doing right now is, like, we are still doing the process, like the business process. I told them, knowing the technical is one. It's one thing, but this is a business. You have to know how to handle clients. You have to know accounting. You have to know how to handle people, because service. This is a service business, and your main Achilles heel, which is also your main strength, is your people. So you need to know how to handle and manage those people, right? So our first BA or our staff, which we have, is also a graduate. She's the wife of a security guard. So what we do is we provide her with a laptop, and we provide her also with internet. So this is what we're doing right now. We're still learning, creating the business processes. I told them that we should do this. We should take it slow. We have to know how to handle the clients. We have to know how to handle our people. We have to know all the business processes before we can expand this. So after, our next step is so we're saving right now for us to create our own co-working space wherein we can have all those scholars work with us, and they have a place to work. So basically, that's what we do as in Nara Digital Solutions.
So you eat, live, and breathe together?
For the last 4 months, yeah, I eat, live, and breathe with them. But I also have to manage my other business. So
yeah, it's
I
okay.
just come and go.
I know someone who ate, slept, and lived in the same 1 meter cubicle. Anyway, thank you for sharing, because actually today we are really talking about what is it to move from freelancing into having your own homegrown BPOs. So, for you, freelancing versus homegrown BPO, what do you say?
Me first?
2 minutes.
Okay, so in freelancing, you can only go too far. You're only dependent on yourself. How can you grow more? So that's what I told them, that we have to create this agency, but we have to do the infrastructure first. How can we scale up if we're not ready? You can't scale fast, because you have to know a lot of people. And in our experience, I don't have a lot of experience in this field. I have a BPO, but I have only a few months of experience in that. So in a business, you should create the good infrastructure, good foundation first before you have to scale. But if you want to go far, and you should be creating your own home-based BPO. You can have more impact, can have more people, and also more money.
And I highly recommend Miss Stephanie, who's
Yes.
moderating the next panel. She will teach you how to grow the business.
Yeah.
Okay, Christine.
I worked as an online freelancer for like 3 years before I transitioned into owning a homegrown business process outsourcing company. So I believe it's always good to know your craft before scaling up, because you cannot give what you don't have. You also need to learn the business, and you need to test the water so that you'll know what's really is in the homegrown BPO business process outsourcing field is. And then of course you really need to have the right people with you. There are these people who are highly technical, who are really good with their skills, yet they lack value in providing their work. So it's always good to inject motivation. It's always good to have the proper mind setting, because you will be working as a team. So it's very important that there is communication. You're putting a lot of value in everything that you do, and that You really need to believe in what Steve Jobs said, that the only way to do great work is to love what you do. So you really need to focus on this mind setting as well. So it's always good to start as a freelancer, and if you've seen a lot of opportunities, if you've already tested the market, then it's high time that you venture in the homegrown business process outsourcing industry, because aside from the fact that you are earning, you're also helping people, not only in the countryside, but even in the entire Philippines. Thank you.
Wait, I just got a question.
Yeah.
So I'm the audience now, Q&A. No, I mean, I have spoken to freelancers and I have had people tell me, why be part of a company when they can have a lot more flexibility on their own? So how would you respond to that?
So for those people who are asking that it's always good to start on their own rather than joining a BPO company, so it's like testing the water. So you really need to know what's the ins and outs. What are the ins and outs in the industry before you can venture in your own. Business is not really a joke. It really needs to be studied. You really need to know everything about it, because if it fails, you fail as well. But of course, in every failure, it's a learning. So in everything that we do, there's always a learning process. So after each failure, you can just learn from it and then check what you can do in the next so that you'll do better. So it's always good that you join these homegrown BPO owners, and then if you feel that you can do it already, then why not start venturing on your own? It's always good to grow on your own as well.
Okay, thank you. Now I give you a hard question. So why do you decide to work in a team? You could have worked on your own and kept all the profits for yourself, right?
Yeah. When I started freelancing, I was employed. So,
Oh, that's all, yeah.
Yep. So I was managing 19 people in my team, full-time job, and then I was freelancing. I was moonlighting. So it came to a point that I sleep 3-4 hours. Sometimes not every night, every day.
It's okay, we said sleep
Whichever.
is for the weak.
Yeah. But and when you have too much on your plate, the quality of your job diminishes. Right. So it was decision time. Should I continue freelancing or should I hire people? And like the question was freelancing or not. Actually, it's very hard to answer because each has its own, advantages and disadvantages. I think the biggest disadvantage, I'm not discouraging freelancers, but the biggest disadvantage of being a freelancer is because, especially in the digital marketing world, most of our clients are outside of the Philippines, right? Australia, UK, Europe, not just the language, but although some of these companies abroad would rather work with freelancers, but you know why would they rather work with a freelancer? Because a freelancer is cheaper than a BPO or an agency. So
Then why would they work with a company? What are the reasons that they work with companies?
they work with the company or for a company if they have long-term goals. Because, well, we have freelancers here. I'm not saying that freelancers are bad people, but I have worked with a lot of companies abroad, and their issues are usually this: they work with a freelancer for a few months, and then the freelancer is gone.
So you were once bad, now you're good.
So yeah, but not all freelancers. But my point is the advantage of being a company, an agency, a BPO is because the trust level is higher. When the arrangement, when the dealing is between two companies instead of a company and a moonlighter, a freelancer.
Yeah, actually, even for myself, because I consult with a BPO company, which you'll know later. But anyway, what I realized is those with long-term accounts, because they come in as a group. If they go in individually, it usually becomes short-term. So when you talk about your freelancers where you want them to have a long-term career and not fly by night, then they need to be in a place where it's more stable. Yep. Okay, so what are the challenges of working by yourself? Ikaw na?
Challenges, of course, again, it's time management. Yeah, because when I started freelancing, I was working full time. It's very hard to juggle the balls. So and sometimes probably because of lack of sleep and rest, you confuse your jobs between your full-time job and your, let's say, 6 or 7 part-time jobs. So
6 or 7?
Yeah.
That's very busy. You need like 1 hour of sleep.
yeah, I used to sleep. I used to work 18, 20 hours a day, and that includes weekends. So I was really, I was really bad.
I guess why we are talking about this today is really because we want to promote basically people working in teams,
Yeah.
working together.
Yeah. It's about but although again freelancing has its disadvantages, it also has its own advantages. Because for example, if you want to work with a team, you need to adjust not just to the client, but to your coworkers, to your partners. If you decide to become partners, business partners. So double adjustment with the client, adjustment with your partners, and the financial accountability. Because when you're working solo, kung sa Cebuano pa, may magbuot ni mo kung saan ni mo yung kwarta. But if you're working with a team, the financial accountability is, everything should be on paper, inked, up to the last centavo, taxes, salaries and wages, everything, and of course the facility. When you work freelance, pwede raman imong laptop di uling. Yeah, if you understand that. Yeah.
This morning they say it's reverse nosebleed. I'm the one nosebleeding.
So I was talking about a laptop that you need to fan it to fire it up. Yeah, you can do that if you are.
It's more fun in the
solo.
Philippines.
Yeah, but if you run a company, you just cannot do that. Yeah. So there are advantages and disadvantages. That's why let me tell you what happened, what transpired in San Carlos City, why we moved into that direction. I was a trainer, the RISTP, the Rural Impact Sourcing Technical Training in San Carlos City. So, standard operating procedure before we start the training program was a very rigorous program, 12 days, 12 full days training. And when I say full days, it's not an 8-hour day. Probably it's a 12-hour day, 14-hour day. So yeah, 20-hour day, depende. So when I visited the mayor of San Carlos City, so I explained to the mayor, okay, this is what we're going to do in the next 12 days. Fast forward, 2 days before graduation, another courtesy call to the mayor. So the mayor said, okay, so what's up, June? And I was like, mayor, they will be graduating. Everybody will be graduating. So that's pretty good. And mayor said, and I said, oh, they haven't graduated yet, but one of our trainees, one of our scholars, is already working online. That was pretty good. But there was a very big question from the mayor. What happens to the other 23? Because we had 24 scholars. And well, I told the mayor that we will help them find jobs online. And of course, the mayor said, so when are they going to find jobs? And that was a very hard question to answer. So I created some sort of a scapegoat.
Scapegoat?
So I told the mayor, mayor, if you are willing, we, and by we I mean the local government unit and us, can provide job opportunities to the graduates of RISTT and to the rest of the people in San Carlos City. And another meeting between the mayor and his team and Leaf and I, and we formed the partnership. So we solved one problem especially for the graduates of the RISTT program. Although they have parang nag-army boot camp sila, it's equivalent to an army boot camp actually, the RISTT. But even then, they cannot just go out and find jobs for themselves. That's number one. Number two, they don't have the facilities. Although the mayor opened up the RIS hub, that they can use it 24 hours, they can use the computers, there's internet, there's air conditioning for free, still it was a challenge finding the client. That's where VWP comes in, my partner Leaf. So we solved another problem. Leaf's company will provide the clients. My company will continue to provide training, so we will skill up our workers, and the local government unit of San Carlos City will provide the facility.
It's a tripartite partnership.
It's a tripartite agreement. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Oh, we're not done. Oh, you want? I'm kidding. So right now, we want to open up the floor for any questions. Yes, ma'am. The microphone is behind. You may just state your name and where you're from, and maybe we'll send jobs to you.
Thank you. My name is Liza, and I'm from the Butuan City Library in Butuan City. Now, I would like to ask the three of you this question, because you are forming your own BPO companies, right? So I hope you have permits from the city government or whatever permits that are required to form your BPO companies. And I would like to know if those, because since you are the one, striking a deal with those foreign companies, so I understand that the payment goes into your account. Okay. Now, how do you protect your workers? Because I know of a small BPO company in Mindanao who never paid his workers. So what is the protection of your workers? There are, let's face it, there are unscrupulous people out there, plenty. So how do we make sure that our efforts will not be, going into the drain? Thank you.
Okay. So, I'll answer it first. Our company is very, very young. It's just 4 months old. Okay. But we make sure that those kind of things are gonna happen in the future. So, what I suggested, because we're still very, very early, we only accepted clients from Upwork. Okay. Why? Because it's secure. We only accepted hourly rate clients. So that means that the client, and we only apply to jobs, or we get clients that are payment verified, meaning that they can pay. And also we check their, because that's what also the things that we like in Upwork is, these clients, and you can see how these clients perform, what are the feedbacks of their previous freelancers, their hiring rate, how do they pay. So those are the things that we really consider, because it's so hard not being get paid. I had that experience before as a project manager, so I make sure that it will not happen to us again. So that's why we have to start really slow, and I think this is a good route. Then if we have established a good relationship with that client already, which it's so early for us to know, then maybe we can go out of the platform. But right now, that's what we're doing. We have to make sure that these people can pay, they have good reputation, and also that they can really, they are in for long term. So that's how we make sure. These two are much older than me in terms of being a BPO. So I think they have...
She's turning 24.
Yeah. But in terms of experience, he's 6 She's been in here for 6 years. So that's what we did in ours, because we're still 4 months and we have pretty much a lot of clients. So that's what we do. We have to make sure that everything is really, because it's so hard that if your employees not get paid, it's your call. So if that will happen to us, then we have to make sure that we have a buffer. So that's why we're taking it slow to scale up. So we have to have a buffer that if this client will, you still have to pay your employee, because these are your strengths. So it's your accountability as a BPO owner or as a BPO operator that your employees will not get. You can't say to them, hey, we're not get paid by this client, so you'll not get paid also. It's your responsibility. So that's why in us, we're still 4 months, so we're still really creating the infrastructure as a business. It's one thing to have technical skills, but it's another thing to operate a business. And in this kind of business, the people are your assets, these employees. So if you will hire them and you will just say, hey, we're not paid by our client, so we'll not get paid, that's unfair for them. In fact, it's your responsibility as an operator. So you have to be mindful of that also. So if you're planning to create your own BPO, that should be in your mind already, because at the end of the day, it's business.
Yeah. Anyway, and because you say it's business, I just wanted to interject, because I think what I'm hearing is the same as any other business challenges, right? It's not just the online industry. If you have any other business that starts up, MSMEs that start up, there is always also a risk of workers not being paid, right? So I guess in all these things, it's also on those who are applying for jobs. They need to know that they are with a reliable company, right? Not just join anyone.
Yes. So you have, because for us, we're still very young, so we have to also build our credibility.
Yeah.
So that's what we have to do. So you can just say, hey, we have the client, we have this very, very big account that at the end of 30 days, no payment. After 60 days, there's still no payment. Then what will happen? You just apply by night company, if that's the case. So we have to avoid that, because it will create bad impression to the BPO, to the home-based BPO or rural BPO industry. So if you are really planning to go in that route, I really, really recommend that you should really mind your business first.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am. We have time for maybe 2 or 3 more questions.
My name's Dana Fortunato. I'm from the Dumaguete, the ICT Association of Dumaguete and Negros Oriental. We would like to replicate the success you're having at San Carlos and Siargao and Calibo, all those places. We have freelancers there in our city. In fact, we're, I think, number 12, the freelancer something. But my question is, how was the ICT able to convince you to train others? Because I would like to talk to our freelancers to convince them to also do the same thing.
You just mentioned Siargao.
No, but this isn't Siargao. This is Dumaguete and Negros Oriental. We're not going to ask them to go anywhere far. This is just going to be Dumaguete and Negros Oriental. We have 25 municipalities there, citizen municipalities there. We would like to spread out the benefits of the BPO industry. So how am I going to convince our successful freelancers? What's the hook? How am I going to convince them to?
You have to pay them.
I know. Yeah.
Maybe I will reframe your
there.
question.
I was gonna go there.
I'll reframe your question for them. What convinced you on sacrificing your sleep for this RIS program?
Okay. So we'll answer, the 3 of us will answer, okay? So I think we have different motivation. But for me, I can really see the impact of this, right? When I saw my trainers right here, single moms, work at home moms, if these are the people that you can really help. So if I can see that, wow, there's great impact in this program. So I want to be part of it. That's my motivation. And if you can see the successes of your students as a trainer, then that's your success. The payment is secondary of that.
Christine?
Aside from the payment, seriously, on a serious note, yeah, that like what Marl said, it's the impact that it's creating. I started very rough. It changed, freelancing really changed the status of my life. Before, I can't even afford to buy bread. I can't even afford to buy shampoo. I used to consume one shampoo for 7 days because I really came from a very poor family. But when I started freelancing, it really changed my life. Not only the status of my life, but of course the quality of the life of my family as well. And then I realized, why not share the knowledge that I acquired from my journey in freelancing? So the doors opened for training and development. I started with Alma Computer College, Butuan. I am their OJT teacher because they incorporated rural impact sourcing in their curriculum. So I have seen a lot of graduates creating their own outsourcing agency already, and I have seen success. And then DTI, Department of Trade and Industry, also hired me to be their consultant and trainer. So they also have scholars, and then they partnered it with their MSMEs coming from the Negosyo Center. And then also DICT. I have been doing a lot of roadshows for DICT MC2. So we've been traveling to different municipalities within Lanao del Norte. Actually, it's not paid, but it's a part of my advocacy to share what I have. Kasi I have seen that it's also good to share what you have in yourself. And yeah, the impact and of course the success that you have been seeing from these students is also your success as well. And it's very fulfilling na you have also created impact not for yourself, not for your family, but for the community as in all. Thank you.
Okay, why I did training?
Why sacrifice sleep? It's like being a mother and losing sleep.
To be honest, at the very initial stages, it was my reason was actually selfish. I wanted to train people because I had so much to do. I cannot do them anymore, so I need to train people. And then it develops into something, a more selfish ambition.
Okay, you're off the panel.
I wanted to build my own agency, advertising agency. I need the best people. Right? So I train people. Actually, the partners I have right now for my agency are people I have trained in the past 7-8 years. You know, they are my business partners. In my training center, there's Brian and Clarissa. Yeah, I trained them as well over the years, and now they are my business partners. And Clarissa even joined me in the ICT training pool, the RISTD program. So she'll be handling the classes in Basilan. Yeah, because she is from Basilan. So she'll be going back home to her hometown to do the training. Now, but as the years progressed, from being just, you know, for self-gains, it became my advocacy. So I started doing, in Cebu especially, I started doing free training. Everything free, just free. And then I found out that a lot of people will join just for fun. So I wasted so much of my time, energy, and then they'll join because their friends are joining, and then after that they'll just return to wherever they come from and never practice digital marketing. That's why I started training for a fee. So I opened up a training center. So all the people coming in are only those who are really serious about either changing careers, like Brian here. He is a registered nurse and worked for call centers, and then switched careers into digital marketing, and now he's running his own homegrown BPO, offering digital marketing services to clients outside of the Philippines. So it became an advocacy, so that in the past few years I was traveling, I was flying around the Philippines with Miss Janet Toral. We call her the mother of e-commerce in the Philippines, and is one of the, you know, pinaka proponents sa RIS. So when Janet told me, hey June, there's a program, RISTT. Do you want to join us? And then I asked her what is it all about? And she said that it is about developing talents in the countryside. To be honest, I was not selfish. I never asked if I will get paid. I just said, bring it on. Let's do this.
So, if you're talking about how you convince people to trade, I think it's tapping into their good self, their inner self. No, but sincerely, it is, I think those who have been impacted a lot, they also feel the need to impact others. Yeah, so the truth is, not everyone will be for training, right? Because there are people who are good at administration, they are good at management, and then there are those people who are good at passing on knowledge. Yes?
One more thing, ma'am. My team, my entire team will be in Valencia on, when is that, right? This May. We'll be in Valencia in Tejeros. Just, team building. We can drop by to Mageti. Let's talk later.
Okay, free coffee. Okay, we have time for one last question. Oh, okay, two, okay? 1, 2, 3. We will hear all your questions and then we will see how to end this. I have 3 more minutes. 1 minute each.
Sige, my name is Lawrence. I'm from the LGU of Balanga City. Okay, I am also the RIS focal person for Balanga. Ang question ko ay kay June para sa, pwede mo bang i-expound pa yung LGU at yung partnership ng LGU mo at ni Lee?
I can explain it to you, but Michelle only has 3 minutes. But the next panel actually is a continuation of this one, and it will be discussed in detail by I think by Leaf. So Leaf will answer that. I'll have my partner answer that question.
Okay, Leaf, can you just stand up? So, he's my business partner and his business partner for 2 different businesses. But anyway, so for Leaf, he will explain in the next panel later if you have questions about LGU partnerships. Okay, so sir. And then ma'am will come to you after that. Yes, you're holding the mic. Oh yeah, you're an organizer. Ma'am! I forgot the purple tag. But it's okay, DICT can ask questions too.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm Maricar from the Department of Social Welfare and Development Region 10. I'll be speaking in behalf of my constituents, the DSWD clients. Now, for the DSWD clients, for all we know, they are the poorest of the poor among us here. Now, what we are seeing is that we wanted to have a better life for our constituents, and we are seeing you as our macro partners of the SWD, meaning micro partners, near to our vicinity, near to our heart, near to our constituents. Now, we see you as our bridge because you provide opportunities for our beneficiaries, you see life. We have common ground. You see impact, no? We have common ground to bring a good impact for our beneficiaries. Now, our role as a government is that we are a social service fund manager. Now, when we say social fund manager, we manage the fund of the government for these people. Now, you are the bridge. We are speaking no questions about that, paying you for your services. But we are looking at the different side of what is real partner for us government. We see you as a service provider. Real partnership is that what can you bring to this client, what we can bring to the client as a government, you as a partner without pay. That is real partnership. That is, yeah, you laugh at that because all of us here, we work for our own. We are freelancers, we are BPO, we should be receiving payment for our services. That's real. And me, I also receive salary for for the services that I render to the government service. But what I am saying is that, what can you do? Are you willing to bring out that not merely a social service relation responsibility, but the real impact that we are seeing is here is that the real life, the better life, that what we can bring together to the beneficiaries, not only your target beneficiaries, not only to my target beneficiaries, but the better life, to provide a better life for the beneficiaries. On the other side of the government also is that the government can pay, name your price, but ito lang sasabihin ko, please register. Because under the government, we are looking into who can participate in the RA 9184 bidding. Yeah. Or at least bid your price out the government side, the field jobs, because government can pay, and at the same time you're contributing not only to the people ground below, but also to the whole country, our government. So that is what I am sending this message to you as our partners. We have partners here. Let me share the success stories that you have. You have partnership with LGU. We have also partnership in Cagayan de Oro in Region 10. But what the SWD is providing is that the ICT provide for the free skills training. The LGU provide for all the technical aspects, the centers, the computers, and everything. And what the SWD can bring is that we provide for the allowances of those beneficiaries who train for the skills training. We provide for that, so that beneficiaries can no longer say that I am going to school without any lunch, without any breakfast, without any packet or any money to pay for my transportation. Because what we are seeing is that rural impact sourcing, meaning bringing opportunities to the rural areas. So that is why this is our second year partnership, replication partner with the ICT in Region 10. For the LGU, you are not alone. If you can bring along, you can invite the SWD in your respective regions to come along with you, to partner with you, so that this aspect can also be addressed. Could also be addressed in your respective municipalities. Actually, this best practice is being presented last year in the Bangon Kabuhayan, and we are number one. We garnered that award. So I hope you see all these things also. Not only there's nothing wrong with I respect your platform. So
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I'm supposed to attend the SWD's and the ICT's meeting last week, but last week in CDO, but I wasn't able to come because of a very important matter. And Sir Eugene Raposala, Engineer Raposala of the ICT MC2 invited me to attend that event kasi he is seeing that we can have these people have jobs, but how can they have jobs if they weren't trained properly? So the best thing that I can do, Mom, is I will coordinate with the ICT MC2 and we can do trainers training for free. Just accommodate and feed me. Charot. I can arrange a trainers training for 20. So we'll just filter people, 20 beneficiaries of DSWD, and we can do a trainers training for free. And I'll also help them generate jobs. So I'll just talk to the ICT MC2 later and you. So let's meet after this forum. So that's what I can do.
Okay.
So this is for us also, as part of our advocacy in our region, part of part of our earnings, we allocate it and we fund it for our advocacy, which is we provide tools, we give free trainings. Last month, we have partnered with the ICT. We give free trainings to single moms and stay-at-home moms, and we are planning to do that every month. So that's what we do. That's our counterpart also, like giving back to the community. And ma'am, I am from Cagayan de Oro. I can also give it for free, no accommodation, no food.
Oh. No competition,
Yeah,
please.
but just also set the schedule and time. So it's part also of what I'm giving back to the community. I'm just right there. I know Miss Steph. So just if you give me the schedule ahead of time, because I have talked to one of the founder of Asido Freelancers United, and we talked na, hey, we can do some trainings. So if you can partner with us, then we can do some free trainings. Then that's also good, because all of us here, we want also to give back. That's what also part of our advocacy. So what we should do also is not, because most of the problems what we see is, like, for example, there are some programs that, hey, we're gonna train you for being a seamstress or being a tahi, but there's no sewing machine. What you should provide is the facility for these people to work on, like the good internet connection and good facility. If you don't have that, then you will be training a lot of people, and after that they don't have a place to work, then it's useless, and you'll be spending a lot of funds of the government for a useless advocacy, or for a useless, and yeah, because let's face it, it's true. We just be spending, hey, we train a lot of these people, and after that, what's the result? Right?
Yep.
So do the infrastructure first. You partner with some, like, I was really jealous actually with what June has accomplished. I hope that it will be replicated by a lot of LGUs. That will really help. It's a follow through of this training. So after this, there should be a facility for these trained people to work after that. Not just because it needs a lot of people to work on this. And if you want to really have an impact, do have the infrastructure and facilities first. Can partner with Tech for Ed for that, and it's on your part already. But for us, you can tap on us and let's talk.
Free. Okay, just take it. Okay, guys, so thank you so much. Oh, no, I think we really need to end. Very quick one. I will answer. Wait.
This is just a follow-up question regarding if ever what interventions that DITC has given to homegrown, especially on the low internet connections to all homegrown BPOs.
I don't think this is something they can
Yes.
answer.
Yes.
Precisely, he is speaking about the facilities that the LGU would give. Now, my question is, if there is any intervention coming from the DITC, the ICT on the homegrown internet.
I think the ICT has Tech for Ed and People Connect. That's a free Wi-Fi, but it's on the long run. It's a process.
Yeah,
So
precisely.
should be-
Just like in Leyte right now,
Yeah.
we were affected by the Yolanda, and that there are areas until now that these companies, the telephone companies, has not restored the telephone lines. So we do not have the LAN, the landline. So the problem is we only have that small thing, what you call that one. So we could not provide a good internet connection.
Actually, last night I was just talking to ASEC, Alan, and he's actually looking into building up infrastructure. So I think in short, don't quote me on this, okay, because it's not official, but basically I think they're trying to work with Tech for Ed and RIS, so they will build the infrastructure for places that have RIS, because at the end of the day, you don't want to train and not be able to fulfill or develop the ecosystem, right? So with that, thank you everybody. And don't worry, this is still a continued topic in the next panel. You will ask more questions. So if you have pen and paper, write down all your questions. And then we will go for lunch. Oh yes, you have been given evaluation forms, right? So fill that up in front of you. After you fill it up, you can submit it at the table outside the room. Yeah, so you will submit it outside and we will exchange it for a lunch token. No free lunch. So if you put 5, maybe you get 2 dishes. But I'm kidding. So just fill up the evaluation forms and submit it. After that, at the end of the day, we will be providing you with certificates for this conference. Sounds good? Okay, thank you everyone.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your sharing your best practices, challenges, and victories to us. So, on behalf of the ICT, we would like to present the Certificate of Appreciation to Miss Michelle Yong as our moderator, Sir Jun Barangan, Miss Christine Ahagan, and Mr. Marl Ian Jonaldo. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. That was very informative forum. So, we are now moving on for the session 2B of the breakout session. Okay, today we will be also discussing creating rural BPOs in the countryside, success stories of selected locations of the Rural Impact Sourcing Technical Training last year, and some of proponents of the great BPOs in the countryside. Without further ado, may I call Miss Stephanie Rosaline Caragos, the President and CEO of Syntactics Incorporated, a good friend of the ICT, as our moderator. Please let us welcome her.
I can follow Michelle's accent and it would seem that your moderator is the same. Hello, good morning everyone. Okay, so it's quite an interesting topic and I'm sure that you still have more questions. And as Michelle said earlier, this is going to be a continuation of the previous panel. So, but this time we're going to be speaking with those that have already established at a longer period their agencies, success stories in selected locations. Okay, so to start, Miss Mackie, is my quick presentation there. So nag-ano pa ng stairs. Alright. So let's move to the first slide lang. Just a quick summary lang. Okay. So the importance of rural BPOs as a recap is it increases access to digital markets and business process. We all understand that. One of the key things that we have to think about is that we want to be able to create jobs in different areas, no? But then big locators, the much bigger companies are not attracted to the smaller areas. So the concept is that if you can have at least 10 that are employing 100 people, you can have 1,000 jobs already available. And of course, those seeking jobs, it has a social impact as well. Those seeking jobs no longer need to travel and transfer to larger cities, leaving their families just to get employment. And of course, we're decongesting the larger cities as well. So that's the importance of what the ICT is doing. What they're doing is that they're giving trainings in selected locations. They're giving immersion and actual outsourcing work and creation of homegrown BPOs, as what you have witnessed earlier. Right. Now, I'd like to call in my panel. So first, we have Miss Jehan Foro. And Jehan Foro is the project manager of Nara Digital Solutions. So she is a partner basically of Marl earlier. Is the project manager for Nara Digital Solutions, a homegrown digital agency in Zamboanga City. Nara Digital was born out of the RISTT held in October 2017. So this is very new, Miss Jehan's agency. It was co-founded by RISTT trainees Jehan Foro and Raquel Asa in the partnership with their mentor Marl Ian Leonaldo, which you met earlier. The agency's name is taken from the Nara tree, the country's national symbol of resilience and stability. Okay, so that's our first panel. Second panel is Mr. Lorenzo Dupa, the co-founder of DigiWorks Carmona Cavite. All right. He's a former overseas Filipino worker in Saudi Arabia for 13 years, and then chairman and co-founder of DigiWorks Carmona Service Cooperative. This is quite an interesting setup. It's a cooperative as compared to the other setups that we have already learned about. Chief Operating Officer of Outbound Broker, top-rated Upwork freelancer as an e-commerce developer. Okay, so that's Mr. Lorenzo Duca. Please, a round of applause for our panelists. The next interesting fellow that I'd like to call on is Mr. Leif Margallo. He's the CEO and founder of Virtual Workforce Professionals Iloilo City. He is awarded as one of the most outstanding dads of Iloilo City as a young entrepreneur given by SM City Iloilo, and he keeps on in the Iloilo and Keep on Talking program last June 18, 2017 during a Father's Day event. Advocate of the Rural Impact Sourcing Program of the Department of Information Communications Technology to promote digital jobs in the countryside. If you see a common denominator among our panelists, these are people with big hearts. Okay, Vice President of Digital Career Advocates of the Philippines, a national association of online freelancers all over the country, co-founder of Life Springs Community Center, and CEO founder of Virtual Workforce Professionals. Okay, that's Mr. Leif Margallo. Then we have Mr. Schweizer Severo. There you go. He is the co-founder of Acotec Calibo Aklan, one of the top 3 medalists in the RISTT in Aklan, co-founder and head of graphics design department. His company is Acotec, which stands for Aklanon Creative Outsourcing Technology. Okay, it's an outsourcing enterprise that is composed of different Aklanon freelancers who provide up-to-date, relevant, and professional digital and virtual services. One of my inspirations, and one that I would like to eventually call a mentor as well, is Mr. Butch Valenzuela, the President and CEO of Visaya KPO, City of Tanjay, Negros Oriental. 11 years ago, Butch wanted to retire from working for more than 16 years in California for several capacities as a Director of Information Systems and Financial Controller of ITT Industries, or so he thought. His experience in ERP systems for manufacturing companies brought him to China as a consultant for a $300 million a year contract manufacturer. In doing so, he would pass through the Philippines as his commute took him from LA to Hong Kong every 2 weeks for about 3 years. This led him to the contact center industry. He founded Visaya KPO with his son Julian 11 years ago and have since grown to about 1,000 full-time employees today. In partnership with Accenture, they started the Rural BPOs project in the town of Tanjay, Negros Oriental about 5 years ago and have grown it to 400 FTEs. I love reading about our panelists. It's like I feel na ako'y gapanghambog sa ila kay it's really a nice story that they have, no? Of course, I'd like to call on Mr. Michael Cubos, the CEO and founder of Performance 360 Cebu City. Is Michael here already? He texted me. Oh, there you go, Mike. All right. And Michael Cubos founded Performance 360 Global Services, a rural business processing outsourcing company in the coastal municipality of Cordova, Cebu. He started his company in 2010 after working in a senior level management position for 8 years in several BPO giant companies. His advocacy is to inspire Filipinos to run their own community-based IT BPO and create more jobs to the towns and countryside. So what they would really want to do is for us to be able to learn from them so that we can also implement it in our own places and localities. Michael Cubos is an awardee of the 2016 Top Outstanding Cebuano Award. So this is a panel of award-winning professionals in the field of entrepreneurship, co-chairman of Cebu Business Month 2017, Cebu Digital Innovation Summit, immediate past president of the Cebu Innovation Council, and the board trustee of the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Okay, and last but not the least, of course, we have Mr. Rojim Banguis, the co-founder of Digitech Solutions. Okay, he's a Municipal Information and Communications Technology Officer, Center Manager in Plaridel, Tech for Ed Center of the Local Government Unit of Plaridel, Misamis Occidental. He has 5 years experience in graphics, okay, and in image, brand and logo designing. Okay, so these are our really interesting panelists for today. Hope you will have your questions ready also for them. But before that, and before we shoot our questions, I'd like to call on some of our panelists that have also prepared a 3-minute intro of themselves and their advocacies. I'd like to first call Ms. Jehan Foro, the co-founder of Nara Digital.
Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Jehan Foro, and I think everyone knows me here as the crybaby from yesterday. Yeah, so Nara Digital Solutions, I think my co-founder, Sir Ian, has already introduced us. So this is just a really quick, more in-depth look at our company. We are a small team of 4 people. So there's the 3 co-founders and our VA, who, as Sir Marl has mentioned earlier, is also a work-at-home mom and our co-trainee as well. So why did we choose the name Nara? It's because of the Nara tree. So our main focus is to be able to build freelancers that are resilient and to be able to provide them with jobs that are stable, where they don't have to leave the comfort of their own homes. About us, I think I've already talked about this. So next slide, ma'am. These are our services, but right now we are focused more on e-commerce development. So as Marl said earlier, e-commerce from website development of the e-commerce website development, SEO, SEM, email marketing, CRM. All of our clients right now are e-commerce clients. And this is our way of paying it forward. So last month we conducted a seminar targeting single moms and stay-at-home moms. I'm proud to say that we had 75% attendance. So a lot of the participants who confirmed really were there, and we could really see the interest in their faces. So that really taught us now we are targeting the right kind of people, the right audience to teach about freelancing, because mothers, meron kasi talagang at stake for mothers. They have something that they have to work for, which is their kids. I am a mother. I will always be a mother no matter what happens. Forever na akong mother. So we know the challenges. We know what a mother wants to give to her kids. So that's what we want to let them know is hindi kayo kailangang magtiyaga sa kung ano lang yung meron kayo ngayon. There is still hope for you to be able to earn more and to help your husbands bring in the money, which is via freelancing. And you don't even have to leave your kids. Raquel and I, our kids go with us everywhere. May dala po kaming maleta. Akala ng DICT doon na po kami titira. Kasi our kids are with us. We work at the DICT office at least once a week, and we are able to be with our kids, to bond with our kids, to strengthen our relationship with them, and that's what we want for other mothers as well. I think that's the last slide. So right now, yeah, we are just 4 months old. We have 8 clients, and we are earning at least 180K a month on revenue. We are setting aside a portion of that fund to be able to replicate what we have done with our VA, which is to be able to provide equipment for our freelancers. That's why we still only have 1 staff for now, because we want to make sure that what we will be able to do for our team is stable, it's sustainable, and it's something na hindi kami masyado mahihirapan na ibigay pag ready na kami. So we're still building our foundations. With that, I give the microphone back.
All right, thank you very much, Jehan. And we'd like to call in Mr. Lorenzo Dupa of DigiWorks Carmona.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lorenzo Dupa again. As you see yesterday, I am on OFW. So I am a graduate of RISTT, and I am the chairman of DigiWorks Carmona, which is we are the first of a kind in the Philippines who are registered as a cooperative or as a rural BPO. So just a few months ago, we have registered. We have got our registration and VIR permit. So now we can issue the full receipt of our clients or our past clients. So our services came from this next slide. Our services from web development, social media engagement, graphic design, Facebook ads, and as well as photography and creative writing. So we have a diverse kind of members. All are graduates from our ISTD. We wrap them up with their talents and with their strengths. So some are good in photography and some good in creative writing. We give them a proper training to excel in their own fields. So we are also, in order to sustainable for us as a graduates and as a members, we fully operate two different e-commerce business, like Picatis is a dropshipping business, or a print on demand. My Digitrans is a dropshipping business. So we are fully evolving in e-commerce, not just like by offering services to locals. We are also offering, we are also doing e-commerce business to have a sustainability with our members. So these are sample of our works and our clients. So with the successful clients we have done in the past, we have generated more than 200,000 profit, and 20% of it we are giving back to our community in terms of trainings and other helping to our poor out of school youth. So these are trainings we have conducted. We have conducted fundamentals of dropshipping business and Photoshop trainings, as well as basic computer trainings into our community. For now, we are only limiting our reach within Carmona, but soon to be we are looking forward to expand within the entire Cavite. So next month, or by June or July, we are planning to duplicate the RISTT training with ourselves only for free with the help of our LGU, to have the same structure of the RISTT training to be given to another participants. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lorenzo. And calling in another superstar is Mr. Leaf Margalio.
Hello. Good morning. Okay, so before I talk about further details about my company, introducing it, I'd like to talk to you guys about the countryside, because I think technically PISCON is geared towards like bringing jobs to the countryside, right? Okay, so when we think about the countryside, we think about fresh air. I mean, I'm from the province of Guimaras, so every time I talk about the countryside, I think about fresh air. I think about the beach, fresh food, the simple life, living in the countryside, and of course, that is where our family is. That is home, correct? Okay, but why do Filipinos leave the countryside? I can discuss to you a lot of factors, but I'll focus on 2 points. This is for me to make you understand the motivation that we have in actually bringing jobs to the countryside. So one, there are actually few employment opportunities in the countryside. I mean, I have my classmates. I'm a graduate of information technology. But if I'm going to think about them, they're already in Manila. They're here in Cebu. They're in Davao. Technically, because there was no opportunities for us there in Iloilo. Okay? And a lot of people, So, a lot of those people are just studying. They would think that, I need to travel to Manila just to get work and stuff like that. So that's a fact. And another is, of course, Filipinos wish to have a better quality of life. So these 2 points are our motivation. Technically, I am actually very lucky to be in this panel, because the question after this is, what are we going to do about it?
if I'm going to think about big companies, they will not go to the countryside, like maybe big corporate call centers or BPOs. Dili na sila mo invest dito, correct? Because the countryside, layo, infrastructure problems and stuff like that. So I think it's up to us Filipinos, especially in the panel here, to do something about that. That's the motivation that I have as a son of the province of Guimaras to actually create my company. So my company is called Virtual Workforce Professionals. It is a online agency as well as a BPO company providing online services to clients all over the globe while providing virtual jobs to Filipinos. I'm a freelancer since 2009. I created my company back in 2011 with one client and 7 freelancers, 7 home-based freelancers. That's how we started. Okay, we started off with one client. So right now I think we have around 582 clients all over the globe. So we started off with no physical office because technically we were all home-based. So now we have a milestone. We have 6 different offices all over the Philippines, and we are so we have expanded to San Fernando, La Union. We have expanded to Calasiao, Pangasinan. Haniway, Iloilo is actually just a few 2 hours from Iloilo City. Minagao, Iloilo is also a few hours from Iloilo City. Bacolod City, and then our main office is in Iloilo City. So the reason why I so love working with the ICT and digital career advocates in the Philippines is because we are into the same vision or advocacy into bringing jobs to the countryside. And I was very thankful that I was introduced and was I became one of the trainers of the ICT as the resource person that goes around the Philippines to actually educate people about online jobs and also share about the things that we've done for our company into impacting lives in the countryside. So these are our 6 offices as of now. We started back in 2011. So fast forward after 6 years, we have 6 different offices. And then we just actually created a one-of-its-kind public-private partnership with the city of San Carlos. The city of San Carlos already has their Tech for Ed, their RIS hub. They are actually doing capacity building, which means they train their constituents there. But then when I met the mayor, I asked him a question. So, they train people, but they send their constituents to Dumaguete or maybe to Iloilo, to Bacolod, or to Manila. So I asked the mayor, what if we can do something where you can just have them work here in San Carlos? That's why we actually entered into a partnership where my company will come in and then provide them clients so that all of the people that they will train will just stay in San Carlos and just work there. Who wouldn't want that, right? Any LGUs here? For your LGUs, it will be good, right? Right? So capacity building with, a good supply of clients. So in terms of rural impact, we have been able to provide 303 office-based online freelancers jobs, and right now 406 home-based freelancers. So in total, we have 709 workforce all over the Philippines. Some of them are working home-based, and some of them are working in 6 of our offices. So that's our rural impact. Next, please. So yeah, so that's our company. That's my company, Virtual Workforce Professionals. We are working with the ICT, so we are doing everything that we can. Hopefully we can talk to a lot of LGUs and see if they would be interested to also replicate what we're doing, because that is actually what where we're gearing to actually help in terms of providing economic opportunities to the countryside. So that's my company. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Leaf. And then I'd like to call on Mr. Butch Valenzuela of Visaya KPO.
Good morning, everyone. Is everybody asleep? All right. I guess a couple of things. I am very inspired to be part of a panel that everyone in the panel is actually less than half my age, right? So, and very inspiring with the type of work that they do. I mean, it's just so amazing how in the countryside today you could actually deliver quality work to people, to businesses abroad, right? Anyway, I am actually one of the board of directors of the Contact Center Association as well. If you you guys don't know, CCAP is really the premier association of all the contact centers in the Philippines that bring in about $22 billion worth of revenue to the country. So as a small player, I've been very proud to be part of that board and be able to guide and create the roadmap for the Philippines in terms of the contact center space. So why Visaya? Right? We are in Cebu today, and we've actually when we first started the company, the reason I actually called it Visaya was I wanted a Filipino brand in selling our business in the U.S. And in other parts of the world, and to be proud of the Filipino quality of work. Unfortunately, here in the Philippines, it's actually known as a regional brand, right? You need to know how to speak Bisaya. Where are you? Are you in Cebu? And all these things, right? So we actually started in Manila with 12 people, and we are an 11-year-old company. Today, we've breached the 1,000 FTE mark, and we are in 4 locations in Manila, 4 offices in Manila. It's actually in one building but 4 different floors. We are in the town of Tanhay, which I'm going to talk about today. And also, we are opening up in Dumaguete in a couple of weeks, where we built 400 seats there to be a backup for our Tanhay facility, as well as in October this year, we are actually also expanding in Bacolod. We're building about 1,500 seats. So as we grow, the rural BPO project that we have has also been a very big help, certainly from a marketing perspective. Being able to actually say that we are an accredited partner of Accenture provides a pretty big weight to it, when talking to clients. But that project in Tanhay has really given us, as an organization, as well as the people that work there, it's been fantastic, because basically the quality of work that we have in Tanhay, the attrition rate that we have there has been very, very low compared to what you get in Manila. The English is better. Not to say that the English in Manila is not good, but at the end of the day, I guess when you talk to people in Manila in English, they typically answer you back because they know that I can speak Tagalog. They reply to me in Tagalog. In Tanhay, I could talk to them in Tagalog, and they reply to me in English, simply because Tagalog is not going to be a language that they would be very comfortable with. So anyway, this project is really a project with Accenture. It's been a project that we've had for about 5 years today. In Tanhay, we do a lot of healthcare work. We do medical records retrieval, where we call into hospitals for a CMS audit. CMS is the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid in the United States. And we've been very happy with the output of work that the people in Tanhay has actually done. Contrary to what people would expect, most of the clients that we actually have in the town of Tanhay has actually been brought in by my own business development team, rather than clients that have been brought in by Accenture. Without further ado, I guess I have a video. I've shown this before, but hopefully, most of the people here have not actually been to prior PISCONs or prior that they might have seen this. But anyway, I think it's a great idea to actually have you guys look at it, and hopefully you can have a better idea of what we are all about.
Thank you, Butch.
program has been a great success. Again, we started with 6 employees. We're hopefully hit 350 next year. It's been a wonderful, wonderful program, and it would be wrong of us to not duplicate this in other parts of the country. And you know, after all, we are Visaya KPO. Who's to say that we can't open other rural BPOs somewhere here in the Visayas?
All right, thank you very much. Now, if you see a common theme here, these are mostly our panelists are, I'll be calling 2 more of our panelists, but just to take notice of the theme. Their hearts are in the right place. They all went back to where they came from and really established their businesses there. Okay, I'd like now to call on Mr. Rojim Bangis, the co-founder of Digitech Solutions from Plaridel.
Okay, magandang umaga po sa lahat. Good morning. Thanks, ma'am. Okay, so before I will be playing the video, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our municipal mayor here, Mayor Diego T, together with my co-founders of Digitech Solutions. So Before I am gonna report or tell you about our homegrown BPO, let us first watch this video. That was our video, and then I have a short PowerPoint presentation, but I think I'm gonna make it fast because Ma'am Stephanie might hit me if I'm gonna make it longer. Okay, Ma'am Maki, please show the PowerPoint presentation. Yeah. Okay, so I am Rojim Arbangis. I am an employee of the local government unit of Plaridel for 4 years as the center manager of Plaridel Tech Work Center. And last year, I have also participated in the Rural Impact Sourcing Technical Training. So we will gonna trace back the history of Digitech Solutions way back January 2016 when the program was introduced in our town by some people from the DICT that was under DOST before, with Ma'am Christine, Nilin, and Sir Pau. So they opened the eyes of our municipal mayor. So they talked for a short period of time, and then I think Mayor, he directly said, yes, we will gonna open a rural BPO without even knowing kung saan patungo yung venture namin. So our mayor purchased computer sets, gumawa siya ng isang rural BPO in his private capacity as a businessman. Siya yung gumastos lahat. And then, next slide please. Okay, so that was the first batch of workers. Miss Mylene, she is here holding the camera. Next slide please. Okay, Digitech Solutions started as a privately owned rural BPO with Mayor Diego City as the investor in his private capacity as a businessman using his personal resources. Next slide please. So that was our rural BPO before. It was established in a century-old haunted house. Sometimes our workers are afraid during nighttime because the objects are moving. Okay, next slide please. Okay, next slide ma'am. So, kasabay nung pag-launch ng rural BPO namin was also the launching of our Tech for Edge Center. However, the apps of the venture encountered some commas. It's not a period, it's just a comma because our operations has encountered some problems. Frequent brownouts, as what our mayor has mentioned yesterday, we are on the farthest part of the grid. So pag magkaroon ng power shortage, we will be the first to be affected. Next is slow but expensive internet connections. I know this is a problem not only sa amin, lahat tayo, ito ang problema natin. And some of the workers have been found to be underqualified too. So, nawawala yung clients kasi hindi qualified yung workers. So, iniiwan kami ng mga clients namin. Masakit pong maiwan. Next slide, please. So, this caused a temporary shutdown of a rural BPO. Temporary lang po siya because, next slide, ma'am. So, yun, pag shutdown ng rural BPO namin, yung iba, gumawa sila ng sarili nilang mga BPOs. Yung iba naman, nagpatuloy as freelancers, habang yung iba, pumasok sa local government unit. So, on early 2017, the RIS program was introduced and Plaridel was lucky to be chosen as one of the pilot areas na mag-conduct ng training. So, next slide, ma'am. So, that was a meeting with our provincial field team lead, Engineer Posala. So, they convened the Municipal ICT Council. Tinawag namin yung lahat ng mga teachers at iba pang mga stakeholders ng business sector to conduct a meeting about the implementation of the program. So, this is our Tech for Ed Center. So, yung mga computer sets ni Mayor on the previous Digitech Solutions, binigay niya lahat doon sa amin sa Tech for Ed Center para magamit namin. So, that is not now, doon namin kinandak yung aming Rural Impact Sourcing Technical Training. So, the previous slide was the trainees, they were trained with Adobe Photoshop. So I was the trainer that time. Next slide, please. That was okay. So right after the RIS technical training, the graduates, becoming more trained and empowered workers, decided to form into a group of freelancers, which will carry out the RIS program. Then the LGU also decided to declare the Tech for Ed Center as a shared facility. So it is a Tech for Ed Center in the morning. On the other side, it is an RIS hub in the evening. So doon kami nagtatrabaho tuwing gabi. Then the LGU has a better infrastructure kasi meron kaming generator, meron kaming mas medyo slight na malakas na internet connection, 65 Mbps na downlink, 0.65 lang di ay. Okay, so medyo okay na. So this is our structure, and then in the present time, we are in the process of purchasing our domain, digitechsolutions.ph, and then we are also processing our application for SEC and BIR para maging mas legal yung business. And I think, next slide, ma'am. Learning is just like growing a tree. You need to water it, sustain it, nurture it, keep on taking care of it, or else it will die. So I think that was all. Thank you and good morning.
Okay, thank you very much. That was Roger Banguis. And then, of course, we'd like to call on Mr. Schweizer Severo. Would you like to share a bit?
Good morning, everyone. I don't have any presentation right now, but I'll just give you a brief history of our company and myself. By the way, my name is Schweizer Jones Severo. You can just call me Jay because my name is so unique in the Philippines. And we started the company this January 21, and we're just 4 months old. And we have one client right now, and actually that client is planning to build a big website for her 4 companies that will cater all the tourists from a different country, and she's also selling products. That's why we are right now on the hard time because of the closure of the Boracay. Her business was affected, and we had to hold the development of the website, and we're currently on doing our freelancing, self-freelancing on the internet. And actually, before the training, I was accepting freelancing jobs on the, locally kasi during training wala akong budget, so I'm accepting freelancing jobs, making business cards, graphics, designs, mga tarpaulins, and actually right now I'm not a good speaker actually. But I'll try my best. But this is so devastating. Actually, I actually did not prepare any speech because I know I'm going to explain my experiences during the training, before the training, during the training, and after the training, and what was the impact to me and my classmates. I'll be explaining that later. I'm actually thankful to the TICT that which help us improve from being down to come up with our dreams, and that was a big help from the TICT and the local government of Aklan. And I guess that's it. I'm going to tell you more about later.
Okay, I hope you guys have your questions ready as well. And last but not the least is a fellow that is very close here because he's from Cordova. So I'd like to call in Mr. Michael Cubos of Performance 360.
Hi guys, good morning. I'm sorry I didn't have any presentation, but just would like to tell you my story and how we started, how Performance 360 started. I used to be a call center agent. Started in 2003 here in Cebu. I was employed with Sykes Asia, so it's one of the oldest call center here. So I was stuck in the corporate ladder in the call center for 8 years. I was thrown into different positions, all kinds of positions into the call center. All the position, name it, I've been there. From trainer, QA, L1, L2, L3 engineer, reports analyst, workforce, manager, senior team manager. I've been there. 2010, an idea hit me that I've been into a different position. Maybe God has something for me in store. And then an idea came up that, hey, you've been in this call center industry. You're really not thinking of why not start your own company? Why not start your own call center? I said, okay. So 2010, I started in an internet cafe with 10 people. It just lasted a month. First client didn't pay, so I had to end up paying for my people. But I still continued. So I worked as a freelancer while still employed in the call center because I can't give up. When you start freelancing, it's a tug of war between. It's really a struggle with having to keep your safety net, the regular income and sort of that. And sometimes, just one day, you just have to decide and just commit and jump to the cliff, and hope that you will grow wings along the way while falling. But so that's while freelancing, I learned how to look for clients, and that completed the process. So after that, I earned something in my freelancing, and then the business also grew. 2000, and I also started my agency, online agency, after, because having to rent the internet cafe, it's really very not good. You're competing with gamers, and they're so loud, they're shouting, and we have to put up some barriers, in the middle of the cafe. But switching to online team, it didn't work because there's, for various reasons, our clients are small and medium businesses, so we have to customize our setup. So 2012 or 13, I put up an office in Davao. It's not really rural, but it's far away, and there's only one call center at that time. I forgot the name, but so we're really small. So I just continued, and it's a roller coaster ride. But in a roller coaster, it will just stop, right? It will just stop like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then you will gain confidence, and you learn, you gain experience and knowledge, and that will help you move to the next step. After a few years, I put up an office in Cordova, and that's when I realized that, hey, I think I hit something really good. in Cordova, it's it's about 25 kilometers from Cebu City, and it's like when we started, it's still like a province. Like it's a fishing village or fishing town rather. So it's really different. And that time there's no rural and pork sourcing. I just started my own. There's no help from LGUs. No nothing. Like it's we just established it from scratch. And then I realized that hey, this is really something really. This is really good. Although in Cordova, there's the internet there is slow that time when we started. I partnered with PLDT to put the first fiber optic line going to Cordova, and we have to pay for the line going from MEPS 2 to all the way to Cordova. Just to have now, because we paid for that line, we now have everyone already has really fast internet if you'd like to avail of that fiber optic. Some of my staff who used to work in IT Park, they spend 5 hours on commute every day. Okay, it's horrible. Like they travel 3 hours going back, 2 to 3 hours going to IT Park here, 3 hours on the way back. So they lose like 5 hours of personal time. So they sleep 8 hours, you work 8 hours. You're supposed to have 8 hours of personal time, but that 5 hours is gone. So they would rather sacrifice about 7,000 to 8,000 difference in their pay and work with me with just walking distance. They're in the office like 2 minutes, and they get back that 5 hours. They spend that 5 hours for their kids, for their family, and it's something very, very valuable to them. Like, you know, in IT Park you spend like 200 at least to 500 pesos every day, because there's this peer pressure as well that hey, we go to Starbucks, we go to this, and there's no, at the end of the day your salary is much lesser than even a helper. A helper can have the whole pay of 4,000 or 5,000. For a call center agent, there's nothing left. Okay, so there's a lot of good things as what the panelists are saying, that there's so many good things in the rural areas. Although we don't really go to the very, very rural areas, we have different offices where the internet and the facility is feasible. So we have Davao, Cebu, Butuan. Soon this year, we're gonna launch our Luluan branch, and then Mandaue, far away from Mandaue, but we also have remote workers all the way from Uslob, and there's a town beside Uslob as well. We have remote workers in Bohol. We have changed our business model a bit in relation to the technological advancement. Right now, we are still developing our tool and software so that we enable people to work at home. Because putting up an office, there's so many cons to it. But if you build a tool and just provide a tool and give access to people, they can work from home. Like we're building right now a hybrid software wherein you can do outbound and inbound call without even talking. Just have to press buttons, restructure it. So just imagine someone like doing laundry and then receiving inbound calls because they're just pressing buttons. Hi, thank you for calling ABC Company. This is Mike. In order for you to serve you better, can I have your phone number? But it's just a press of the button. They're doing laundry in their TV. That's our direction right now. We're focusing more on the technology, so we can people can. Sorry, but so I hope, although I don't have presentation, I hope to share my knowledge and experiences to everyone. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All very interesting stories of how they started. But now we get to the meat of this panel, where we ask the hard questions, right? We want to learn from their experiences, and that is why they are in the category of success stories, right? So the first question that I do have right now is, what are the challenges and the hurdles that you had to overcome in starting a rural BPO? Challenges in starting a rural BPO. Okay, So very quickly, let's start with Butch here.
I guess this partnership that we have with Accenture, the idea was to actually, for Accenture to find the client, we would run the process, and in turn try to uplift the rural communities, or the rural community of Tanay, which we have done, and it actually had been successful for us to grow it to about 400 people today. I guess the biggest challenge that we have, that we had, because Accenture, when you go, look at their standards, you'd have to actually make the facility up to par to their standards. So we had to pay, we had to spend another, I believe, about 10 to 12 million pesos to actually get it up to their standards when it's already there. You also, the biggest challenge that we had is also, from an Accenture perspective, and bringing in their clients, it really wasn't as simple as that. They had to sell it to their own POCs, which are people that are in charge of different programs that they might have. So if a POC was in charge of about 1,000 FTEs, or employees, call center agents, they could take 50 of that perhaps, and maybe send it over to to Tanhay so that we could do the work for them. But it's not an easy feat in the sense that POCs are also in charge of their own P&L, and for Accenture, they'd have to pay the salaries. Overhead typically is an allocated cost for them. But when they go with us, obviously they'd have to pay for our overhead, they'd have to pay for our salaries, as well as, we'd have to make a profit out of it. So, there were times basically when the numbers just did not add up. Anyway, it's after 5 years, we've grown it mostly by ourselves. We've grown Tanhay to about 400 FTEs today, doing primarily healthcare work. We do a lot of voice work, calling into hospitals to actually pull medical records.
Thank you, Butch. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, there are different categories of the types of rural BPOs that we have here right now, and that is actually a privilege for us to be able to take a peek at the operations or how they do their businesses at the different levels. Okay, so may we call on to the next panelist that would like to answer the question, the challenges when you started out.
Okay, well, first I think it's infrastructure. I mean, especially us that we are expanding on municipalities, the rural areas. So we have to check the internet speed. Sometimes there are places that have constant power failure. So that's one. And then two, sometimes it's like some people. This is actually one of the reasons why. I mean, the six private, the six offices that we have is private partners with the private sector. Now I'm trying to partner with LGUs. That way it won't be hard for me to actually explain that we are a legit company, because sometimes when you go there, like people will ask, is this legit? Maybe they're a scam or something like that. So the perception of people about, because VWP is a brand about providing online jobs. So that comes with it. So those are two
of your challenges. All right. And Jehan, after that would be Lorenzo. Okay.
Yeah, so we're still a very young company, but I think right now we're facing a lot of challenges, mainly as Sir we've said, infrastructure, because we're in Mindanao. We are based in Mindanao now. Let's face it, that's brownouts, internet connection issues. That's the normal for us. Yeah, and then also lack of facilities. Even though we want to bring in more people, we are unable to do that at the moment because we don't have a place where we can put them all together and watch over them as they work and be able to provide the necessary support. Also, the mindset of the people. In Zamboanga City, freelancing is really not as popular yet as in other cities in the country. And the mindset of the people there is that if you're working from home, then you're parang papetiks-petiks ka lang. You're just on your Facebook. You're just looking for a reason to be on Facebook 24 hours a day. And they don't understand that you're really actually doing an actual job. So we want to overcome that sort of negative view of freelancing. That's what we're slowly trying to do right now. And personally, lack of experience in business. So I'm still learning how to handle people, how to interact with.
Freelancing is when you do it at home or you don't have a company set up. But I believe most of you here already have your own companies. So technically, it's no longer freelancing, but a formal business organization now. All right, okay. And then Lorenzo?
Yeah, we are unique and we are different from other kinds of my panelists because they have started their own rural BPOs with a partnership with big companies like Accenture, and they have their own established rural BPOs way back time year ago. But we as a registered cooperative, we are started as all graduates of RISTT. So the biggest hurdles for us is that how we can keep our members motivated that they will, and when we are going to a local companies like where is your receipt, where is your OR number, that is the biggest things that we are facing, that we are saying, also we are in the process of registering, so that is not an excuse for them to give us the contract. So that's why we did challenge ourselves to register as a CDA because as a cooperative we also believe that in the vision of the ICT, in giving back to the community what they give to us. So out of our 20 graduates, we have 16 successfully member of cooperative doing any different kinds of jobs, and now 20% of our profit and revenue will go direct to the charities we are choosing. So the one thing we could keep in mind for starting rural BPOs is just keep your members motivated always, because sometimes when we are starting, some members, they are just saying that buwagin na natin ito dahil walang patutunguhan. So just because we don't have clients, when we are getting clients, walang nag-response, we cannot close the deal. So when we pass on that stage, now we are better than 3 months ago.
Okay. And Michael, do you want to share also your challenges in starting your rural BPO?
When we started 2010, I think the biggest challenge was the support, because there was no one. Like I just started, I had to figure out everything from scratch. The good thing right now is that if I know if there's a support like this, I could have saved like 5 years in my business. So I had to figure out, learn, relearn, experience bad things, learn, and just keep growing. What I would really like to propose here publicly is to have a rural BPO incubation center, wherein those who like to start their own rural BPO will be incubated by DICT or other supporting agencies. You house them there for a month, 2 months, or 3 months. When they're ready, you kick them out. And I'm pretty sure that when you do that, after they graduate from the incubation and acceleration program, I'm pretty sure they have a really good, what do you call this? They have a good chance out there. Because right now, it's just after they graduate, they figure out on their own what to do, especially on the financial part. The financial part, if you're not, for me, I'm a really bad, I hate math. But I had to really learn it, because if I don't, then, So, a really good support, especially from the LGU and the other agencies, to have this incubation program that would really help a lot, because that was my really big challenge. I had to learn everything. I have to learn how a PBX, a dialer works. But now I'm an admin. I can, you can't cheat on me. My IT can cheat on me. Hey, it can be done. No, it can't be done in 5 minutes. I know it because I've studied. I just memorized the whole manual, so I know it can be done. So, support system, it's really.
All right, Roger, would you like to share?
Okay, so I think in starting a rural BPO, there are a lot of problems that we will gonna encounter. So, yung internet connection, kahit 0.65 Mbps lang, okay lang yun. Kung sa Bisaya pa, magwantara. The brownouts, okay lang din yun. But I think the biggest problem that we have encountered before was our workers. You know, there are many people who aspires to be an online worker. Maraming nangangarap maging online worker, but only few possesses that skills that are required to be an online worker. And that was what happened in us in Plaridel. There are many who applied to be a worker in Digitech Solutions, but most of them are still not trained, they are still not qualified. And then when the foreign employers will interview, usually they will fail. So the solution was not on our level. It was on the level of the Department of Information and Communications Technology, because we have solved the problem because of their help, because they have given us the rural impact sourcing technical training, and because of the said training, all our workers have been trained. They are being equipped with the skills. So every time they will go to an interview, of course they will be accepted. That's because of the help of the ICT. Thank you.
Right. So, Leaf would like to add something, but one point to take away here is that regardless of the skills and the knowledge that you may have, if you don't have the discipline, wala pa ring patutunguhan, right? Whether you're working alone or working with a team, discipline is really important. And I'm sure you're all successful here because of that one inherent thing that you have, then that's the discipline. Okay, and Leaf, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I just would like to add to what Sir Mike told us about incubation, about the support system. I actually had a dinner with Maurice, Miss Janet Toral in Iloilo, and Nico, and Sir Merlin. And it was actually part of our discussion where what if we actually create like a coalition of agencies, where that's actually a fact. I mean, I can just replicate this to a lot of LGUs, what I'm doing right now, but how about for those na wala or dili, or LGUs that are really not open to it? So what if we create like an agency, a group of agencies where we can actually have maybe just a group on Facebook where we can actually exchange ideas, and even I'm open to like saying, okay, I have spillover jobs here who are RISTT graduates that we can actually support. So if you have like that group, maybe there could also be a support system to actually, like you guys are starting, right? So maybe we can create something like that. The ICT, that's your job, right? So maybe, just tell us, and I mean, everyone is actually open to really help in that aspect.
Okay, there's a quick question. Among all of you who are in PEZA located areas, would you be in a PEZA zone? Wala. Okay, so that's also that was a question that was posed. So I guess that's something that's an additional support that the government can also provide.
Just to add, 2 years ago, I started a group of small call center owners here in Cebu and in Mindanao. So what we basically do, we just chat, we email, we talk in Skype, but it's an informal thing. But I think it's really good because, like for example, for this group of call center owners, we just talk and share best practices, and that's one good thing because we can share whatever is working for our team. We can try it out on our team. Second is we can also somehow share the risk. We can blacklist certain clients that are not good payers. So we don't entertain certain individuals or companies who has a history of non-payment. Third is we can share the workload. So for example, one company, a call center here in Cebu, somewhere here in IT Park, their whole connection was down in the whole building. So what they did is, because I have a lot of spare seats in Cordova, so they they put all the agents in 3 vans, and they went to Cordova, and they used my facility, and it's for free. So, and when my site is down, my whole staff went here in Cebu City, and they're doing the work. So it's a really good, we're helping each other. We're sharing clients as well. So we don't view ourselves as competition, but it's because if we view ourselves as competition, we're just basically killing ourselves. And so we're just helping each other. And I think that's really, really good. It's been working for us, although not now because, everyone has grown already. So, but from time to time, for example, if the dialer expert is away, I can send my team, go to this site, fix their stuff there. Hey, just pay for his OT, give him snacks. That's all. So it's a really good initiative.
Now, you mentioned something that I'd like to ask as my last question, be implemented by those that are planning to get into the business or have just started the business. What are the best practices that you would like to share to them? So I'll start with Butch here, and then Leaf and...
I guess there are really a few components basically to running a business. First of all, you need to know where to get your client, how to make sure that your client will pay, and thirdly, that they're able to have the longevity and sustainability in being a client. Because otherwise, if your client actually are short tenured clients, it becomes a very hard proposition for your people. The other thing is that, so when you look at, if you look at it from a manufacturing point of view, the end result is really a product that needs to have really good quality. The difference is, the product that we have are people. So you need to make sure that you have to keep your people happy. You need to make sure that your people are engaged, and that your people are actually trained properly, right? But it doesn't end there, because at the end of the day, we're all not robots, right? And that's why, as a human being, there are just so many variances that happen in your daily life that you can't control, right? So how do you actually make sure that the service delivery is always constant? Because from a client perspective, what they're looking at is a level of quality at a constant rate. So from a best practice perspective, you really need to make sure that you're able to deliver that. You start with making sure that you have the right people, for one, making sure that you have the right training regimen, and you need to make sure that you keep your people engaged all the time. The other part that's really important, I guess, especially for the folks in this panel and those that are actually, I salute all of them. Our model is completely different from theirs, so you guys need to understand that we are, my model, or the Visaya model, is relatively, it's closer to what the big boys do. Our clients are all fairly large companies as well. Our logos are, and if you guys are familiar with DJI, which is a drone company, they're one of our clients, and we do a lot of customer service technical support for them. And here's the one thing: dealing with Chinese companies to deliver U.S. Service delivery to the U.S., European, and Australian market. Just thinking of that is a big, I guess, is a big challenge, because first of all, the Chinese, they really don't speak English as well, and they're trying to make sure that you are able to have the right quality of work for them. So I guess from a business perspective, you need to have the sustainability over time. Gone are the days as well. You know, people actually talk about where artificial intelligence comes in. And AI, the people will still want to talk to people. But at the end of the day, like I was back in California about 6 months ago, and I called into I needed something for, a credit card that I was using. And I was talking to this lady over the phone, and it took me a little more than 5 minutes, around that time, to realize that I was not talking to a person, because it was actually completely artificial intelligence, and it answered me in a conversational way. That, when you really think about that, from the low end or lower value work, like customer service, technical support work, there will come a time when AI actually could take a lot of that work away. But at the end of the day, people still would like to talk to people. But there will be an effect, right? So I guess the one challenge that everybody needs to have is you need to be able to move to the higher value add type work, right? We do a lot of medical coding work. And that again could also be automated, and it could also get to a point wherein voice recognition technology, OCR technology could actually take over that type of work as well. It's a challenging 10 years or 5 years ahead, much less, you have Trump to contend with. You have our government to contend with. Train 2 is coming up pretty soon, and it's going to affect our industry. There's no doubt about that. That will happen. And then you have artificial intelligence and other types of processes that could be fully automated. So, anyway, thank you.
So consistency, quality, and continuous improvement. Those are Butch's best practices. And then, Mike, you want to share also your best practices?
I guess I'll just stand this. Okay, just to sum up our experiences and best practices for the last almost 8 years is just 3 things. Especially for those who are starting, I want you to remember this, because this is going to be this is like 7 to 8 years of my learnings sum up into 3 things. First of all, you just have to balance all these 3 things. It's the company, your clients, and your people. You have to balance those 3 things. First is the company. Your company needs to have a really good business practice. Second is, which is very important, is you have to have this really, really good culture. Culture in the company, it's something that differentiates you from the rest. And it will sustain you in your business and any endeavor that you have. Second is about your clients. Always keep your clients happy. At the same time, you compare it with the company's values and core principles, and compare it to your people as well. You don't give what the client wants, and then it will compromise your company and your people. For example, one client has a really good offer, and just imagine $30 an hour for a small outsourcing company. Wow, that's $30 an hour. What is it? It's adult chat. And okay, sorry, we don't accept those kinds of services. Yeah, I mean it's like it's not really like, it's just chat, and they're paying that much. They will pay our staff that much just to have those chats. So it compromises your company, it compromises your people, and that's not a good thing. So you have to keep your clients happy, as well as deliver a really good service, world-class service. third is your people. You have to keep your people engaged and motivated. Second is go for the attitude, not skill. Because I've had so many skillful agents, and after 3 months they jump to another company and they don't last long. But if you have the right attitude, they will stay with you for a long time. You know, I tell them, I'm not going to be, I don't want you here forever. You need to grow up. This is just a stepping stone. So every time, everything that you do, learn. Whatever you're doing in the office, whether that's you got a really bad stat, you didn't have a sale, you have a DSAT, keep it as a learning item and learn from it. Because again, I don't want you here forever. This is just your stepping stone. And when you have that right attitude and company culture, you're really gonna sustain your business. So when we do hiring, we go for the attitude first, because with skill, I can invest in them. I can spend more days for training. But the attitude, it takes years, maybe not really. Like you cannot really change. Like those hard-headed people, you know, you even gave for the funeral of their parents. A week after, you see them in labor. You're sitting with them in Dole. Because of some grievance that they have. But again, it's go for the attitude first. Secondary is the skill. Okay, those three things. And just one lastly, just point out is that when you're starting your rural BPO, be a captain of your ship. Sometimes, because we start from scratch, we tend to micromanage things. When you're a captain of a ship, you're captain. You don't go there to the engine room and tweak, hey, tighten this bolt. And who's manning the ship there? At the top, no one. Then you hit an iceberg, you see. Okay, so just learn to delegate and have an open communication with your team. I think that's all.
Okay, thank you. Attitude is everything. And then I probably have to ask only one more to share kung sino ang gusto mag-share ng best practice. Leave? Okay. And then I'm opening the floor to your questions. So at least 2 questions. I don't want Maurice to feel butterflies in her stomach because of the time delays. So leave, please.
Okay. So this is just going to be short. Anyway, best practices actually, I'll share to you guys success mindset that we have for our team. I have in growing our team. I mean, I still consider myself as a startup basically because, I mean, we grew, yes, but here are the success mindset that we've used from 2011 until now to growing our team. First is actually we need to always think how to get the best out of people. So for us, our company, we're actually lucky that we are in the online outsourcing industry. So we pay our agents on a per hour basis. They don't really need to work in our office every day. They can technically work at home or travel while at work as long as they become productive. We don't really care where they work as long as they are productive in working with our clients. So that's one. Number 2, I think we have this, we think differently. I mean, if my company has like expanded on big metros like Davao or here in Cebu or in Metro Manila, do you think we've grown? Kasi technically these big cities, competition is very tight. There are a lot of big companies there, and they will eat us alive. We are just homegrown. So actually our motivation is to actually expand on the countryside to also help, but that's also thinking differently because on the countryside, there are less competition, right? And then third is just taking action. I mean, back in 2011, if I had like doubted myself or if I had say no to the Australian client that offered me to actually start a team, I think I wouldn't be, speaking in front of you here. So because I took action, I took action as soon as he said that, Brian, I need to add additional people, under you. I was actually working for him for the past 2 years doing his sales and marketing, and he suddenly just told me, Brian, I need to add 7 more people. You train them. And I just said yes. And then he told me that, no, I want to hire them under you. You train them, but I pay you. You get a cut so you can pay them. So he just laid down to me a structure of how I can actually start an agency. So I took action. And then last but not the least, always trust in the Lord's guidance. All through the years, we have been through ups and downs, actually 90% negative, maybe 10% positive, but we trusted how God has guided us. That's why we were able to achieve our milestones right now, and hopefully add more to it. Thank you.
Galing. Okay, so when your heart is in the right place, the universe will always conspire to give you what you want. All right. So I'm opening the floor for a couple of questions. Okay lang? A couple of questions. So who wants to ask, sir?
Good afternoon. I am Edgardo Cordeño from the province of Leyte. In our province, we have scholars started 2008 programmers. And in fact, even before they would graduate, they are already taught by certain companies to be hired. So with this kind of forum that we have, I think we have to look at another perspective that these graduates that we have to form just what we are doing. That I have just concerns on tax. Now, except for the cooperatives which you have under the CDA, you are exempt from payment of certain taxes. How about yours? Are you given any tax holidays from our LGUs when you set up your own homegrown in the LGUs concerns? And if you are on the BUI, you are given likewise a tax incentives.
All right, that is a good question, but I think we're about to lose those incentives anytime soon. But who would like to answer that question?
I guess I'm the only one that actually is in a tax, I'm in a PESA zone. So, and all our places are actually, or all our sites are actually all PESA. I guess to really understand what your question is, your question is, how do we manage?
No, sir. I'm just asking if those are not under the PESA or under the BUI. Those on the LGUs that they are having partnership with, or they are establishing their own business in an LGU, local government. If there is any tax holidays granted to them by the LGU under their own tax.
Actually, this question is really not for me then.
Not for the PESA and the BUI, but and likewise not for the cooperative, because under the law they are already exempt. So for those not under the BUI, PESA, or the cooperative, but the local.
I'd like to answer that, sir, if I may. I'm not really sure what the tax holiday is, but speaking from my experience as a freelancer, I've been working as a freelance writer before I had my rural BPO. We don't pay taxes as freelancers, as online workers, because even the BIR itself does not know what category of taxation we fall under. Believe me, sir, I have asked the BIR year after year after year how I can pay my taxes. They could never give me a definite answer on that. But with my digital agency, sir, we are on the process of filing for, what do you call that? I'm not sure. Filing for the BIR thing. Hopefully we will have that so that we can bid under PhilJeps and all that stuff. But freelancers and online workers, I think he agrees with me now. Nobody knows what category we fall under unless there's been an update within the last 1 to 2 years. Because the last time I asked, wala po category.
I would just like to clarify. Yung sa akin is, what I'm trying to drive at is, if the LGU, in order for this like the homegrown BPOs could propagate, would the LGU, just like the Mayor T, if that your company is given a tax holidays para yung company mo, there will be another company would set up, there is a tax holidays from their tax ordinance, the local LGU.
Okay. Sige, sir. Earlier, kanina, there was a plenary, another breakout that's really talked about that. Ayan, if you could look for Miss Janet Cruz, Chief Revenue Officer of the BIR, she may be able to answer you also regarding that. Is that you, ma'am? Okay. But anyway, but basically, in all forms of business, I could answer that directly. In all forms of business, once you start earning a certain amount of income, it will become taxable. So, whatever kind form of business, whether it's
No. Under the LGU, if under the tax ordinance, they will establish their business for a certain period of time. How much the income, they do not pay amount of taxes because under the local government, they are given a free tax holidays for length period of time.
That's a really good question. I've experienced that in several cities. This is what I proposed like years back, that each LGU who wants to have a BPO or rural BPO in their city, they need to craft and streamline their investment code. Because in Davao City, when I set up my office, Davao City has a really good breakdown of the preferred investments that they like. One of that is BPO, and they grant about 2 to 3 years business without paying business tax. But for the BIR, that's not part of it. It's just a local LGU, they can grant that. But here in Cebu, I've looked for it. Their investment code, it's still in draft. I've looked for other cities, it's not ready. So that's, if you put in there, like for example in Davao, that it's really like agriculture and IT. In the IT, there's the BPO, KPO, and small, and then they put in there how many people, and so it's there. Most of the cities I've been to, they don't have that. Okay. I'm not paying anything in Cordoba. They said that they gave me holiday. It's almost 3 years, nothing. So yeah.
All right. So that's really that depends on the LGU, and if you're an LGU here, then maybe that is something that you can really craft and add to your legislation in your respective municipality. Okay, I know that Cagayan de Oro has that, but it takes a certain number of people employed. So I guess one thing that we can all suggest to our local government units is to open the opportunity for the small scale operators as well. Okay. All right. So another question, ma'am. Sorry, it's
Hi, my name is Leila. I've been in the BPO industry for 23 years, and I'm looking to set up my own gig, right? So I've noticed that we talked about sustainability, but in order for us to have a level playing field for both managed service and entrepreneurs, I'd like to know how you guys want to drive or establish competitive hourly rates, so that, regardless of location, whether you're in the city, remote workers in the city, or remote workers in the provinces, far-flung areas of the city, how do you guys drive that or dictate the price rates for these services, regardless of expertise, so that there's a level playing field, and it would further drive sustainability for all business owners?
It's a very good and valid question.
Actually, the answer to that question is, it is actually illegal to do so. Because you really could not, as an industry, dictate a rate for everyone to use. That is, and I forget what the term is, but there is a term for that, and you can't do that. Everything is all based upon competition. The idea there is that, first of all, I guess you could work on it the other way, which is really from your perspective, you need to understand what kind of margins do you really want to carry, right? And then work your way back so that you can derive what an hourly rate you might need to have in order to derive that kind of margin. I do have a question for you though, and I'll put this back to you. And this is a question that I actually ask. I've done a lot of speaking engagements with different, I guess either through CCAP or through, and I hope you do not take this the wrong way, because my intent here is to be able to help you out, or at least help everybody out. First of all, I guess my question is, why are you going to do that? Number two, do you really have access to the market? And number three, and this is, without having to to sound facetious or anything like that, and that is not my intent, how much money do you have? Okay, these are very important questions that you need to ask yourself, because if you're unable to sustain a business from a financial perspective, you'll be wasting your money. Somebody had asked me one time, and again, it's, there are different levels of, and it really depends upon your goal. And these folks have actually done it, and they have their own goals. Our goal is actually to be, interestingly enough, there is no Filipino-owned BPO company today, or actually, let me rephrase that. There is no Filipino-owned, wholly Filipino-owned call contact center company today that is global in nature. None. There are people that claim, yeah, we're global simply because they have global clients, right? But that's not global in my definition. Global means that you have operations in more than one country. So what is this industry about? Okay. You have the large players, you have the medium-sized that are all primarily, also Indian-owned, foreign-owned, and then you have the smaller players that are Filipino-owned, or but none of these Filipino-owned players are actually global in nature. Yes. Now, the thing is that for you, you need to really think about those three things. How are you going to get your client? If you work, and I have nothing against brokers, personally, but if you're going to say, well, I can go work through the broker base, I guess the way that I would look at it from an experience perspective, the broker makes the money.
I agree. And again, sorry to cut you, but I guess the question was posted because primarily as any startup, you need to start somewhere, right? In terms of client acquisition, retention, talent acquisition, retention, and all these things. But I guess the question is, if the rates at which prices are set for clients outside of the Philippines, I'm not even talking investments or size of whatever entity, right? I'm just talking if hourly rates posted online and there are service providers, whether they work from home, whether they are in a managed service facility like Visaya, right? So if it gets further down because market dictates, clients would always avail of service that is equally good but lower in hourly rate. So I guess the issue is sustainability. Like if I am going to start somewhere, get one client that agrees to pay me, let's say $7 an hour, US dollars an hour, for a service that is basic, right? And then a managed service would have like 8, let's say. Okay, regardless of volume of however many agents they have in their center. So I'd still be awarded the job. But how would that affect the managed service? And vice versa. Like if a managed service that has volume agents, X however many, right, has $6 times however many agents, and then there's just one me at $7. How would that in turn affect? So it's a symbiotic relationship. So I'm saying that in order for us to help each other, both managed service, which has a great pool of individuals that are not yet ready to start businesses on their own, how do we level that playing field? Not to kill competition per se, because again, that's what business is about, right? But how do we establish that form of balance?
Yeah. Do you have any of the panelists? I do have an answer for that because I also have a BPO company of myself. But I'd like to give that to the panelists first. Would you like to respond to that?
Okay, so I'm not really clear about the question, but I'll share to you how we did it in our team. I mean, the question, to answer the question is, I think it will all boil down to how you negotiate. I mean, whatever your client and you will agree, it will boil down to how you negotiate. Okay, so that's just how we do it. We negotiate the rates. If we think that this is not something that's sustainable or very low, then we just tell them, if you can't pay us this much, then we can't do work for you and stuff like that. So I think that's how we can do that, right? To be symbiotic, just like you mentioned. We just need to know. I mean, we can always research industry rates to know what's high and what's low, right? And then we play around there, and then just negotiate with the client.
Okay, and then
all right. Just to answer your question, in our point of view, is just like how you would like to value yourself as a seller to your client. It's just like selling turon in the streets. You can find turon 15 pesos, and you can find turon in SM with 30 pesos, but they are the same turon. So it's just like how would you package yourself and sell to the clients? Would you like to be packaged in a good wrapper, or would you like to package it in a simple plastic that can be sold in the streets?
Correct, and I'll be the turon with nangka in the middle, right? So, but that's true, and I agree with everybody's answer. And with regards to pricing, it really depends on your market as well, because you have to identify your market. There are those markets that are willing to pay high for a certain level of service, and there are those that are really just after the lower rates. So it's up to you. I do agree. It's how you package and it's how you negotiate. And also, as what Butch said, we cannot really dictate the price in the market. So at the end of the day, it's how good we are, how disciplined we are, and how we're able to really keep and retain our relationship with our clients. Okay, one more. I get one more question? One more? No more na? No more questions na. Okay, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Now, to end this, I believe that in the previous panel, I think most of you here were here in the first panel as well, which I'd like to continue with this panel, is that somebody mentioned that he said that he did it because he was selfish. I would like to be able to rephrase that word. Do not call yourself selfish, but think of it as an enlightened self-interest. Okay, so it sounds much better. So it's an enlightened self-interest, and that's why we're doing it today. So thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you so much, ma'am and sir. So we are now presenting the certificate of appreciation to the member of the panel and moderator from the DICT. So after this panel, we will convene at the plenary for the closing ceremony of the PISCON, and actually they are now having the ceremonial signing with private partners. Well, thank you very much. We really had an impactful discussions this morning by sharing their challenges, victories, and best practices. I hope everyone is inspired to make good things great. Thank you very much. May I ask the DICT team to stay? Also, the lunch will be served at the plenary po.
DICT staff.
DICT, Ma'am Des.